الخلائق أجمعين والصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد صلى الله عليه وآله الطيبين الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. صل على محمد. أما بعد فأوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله فإنه حبل متين وعروة وثقى. صلوات. صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه. Dear brothers and sisters in Iman, first of all I advise myself for taqwa, parhezgari and piety, and then I advise all of you for the same. A few days before in Khutbah Jumma, we discussed the importance of tafaqquh fi din. Mainly our topic and the discussion was about tafaqquh fi din, which means in-depth understanding of religion. We emphasized that in-depth understanding of our religion is essential for us to take the full benefits of our religion or to live a life which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us to live. We discussed the verse number 122 from Surah At-Tawbah. Surah At-Tawbah is chapter number 9, and its verse number 122 was discussed as a reference where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded believers to gain in-depth understanding of their deen. We also discussed that saying of Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam that inna likulli shay'in di'ama wa di'amatu hadha ad-din al-fiqh. For everything to stand, it needs a pillar. Big structures, big buildings, all of them, they have strong columns and those pillars which hold them. And Prophet, and here Imam Ali explained with example that this religion of Allah stands also on some pillars. And the pillar, which is a central pillar and very important one, is al-fiqh, deep understanding of religion. In-depth knowledge of your religion is a pillar of your deen. And if it is not there, then you don't have deen. It will fall down. It will collapse. It won't be able to stand. As I said last time, one article, one clip, one speech, one movie, one book is going to ruin your deen. Because it is not standing on a strong foundation. Your deen is not standing and it's not resting on a sturdy and strong pillar, which is deep understanding, in-depth knowledge of your religion. Anybody can confuse you, anybody can cause doubts, and you won't be able to keep it or to protect it. Particularly in our times, when because of social media and interaction with all kind of people day and night bring so many questions and confusions, and one cannot really keep his or her religion sound and safe from all those influences and interventions if it is not based on strong foundation of in-depth knowledge of understanding. Most of people in every religion, and this is not about Islam, it's about almost every religion, most of the people, when it comes to their religion, they have very basic information and very superficial knowledge of their deen. Even sometime when they convert from one religion to other, and you ask them that what was wrong with your religion, and can you give me some understanding that why did you left that one and you came here, I never found very strong, compelling reasons or any kind of convincing argument. Most of them, they even never knew their own previous religion, and they just left it. And they entered in a religion again, they don't know anything about it. So sometimes it's interesting case of study to sometime interview these converts, and you will see that if you ask them, have you ever read this Bible cover to cover even once before leaving it? Have you ever read those books and your beliefs, and then you realize that they were not making sense and they had so many holes and they had so many problems? And then before entering into this religion, have you ever read the Quran cover to cover? Or anything like that? Normally the reasons of conversions are others. So sometimes people have that kind of tendency. There are people who cannot stick with anything. They cannot sit, at any place. They have to keep moving. I had a student at one time in Hosea, New York, and I was used to say that this brother, even if he will go in paradise, just living in paradise, he will say, but for a few days I would like to go to the hellfire, to just see what's going on over there. So this is the kind of personality. They have to keep moving from one place to other, from one religion to other, from one viewpoint to the other. So, and sometimes they are impressed only by one individual, one man, one woman, one boy, one girl, and they will convert. Leave their own religion and enter into new religion because of a boy or because of a girl, or because of a job, or because of those very little things. So, the point is, in-depth religion, in-depth understanding of religion is not found around. Most of the people, their information of their religion is very basic and very superficial. And because of that basic information and very superficial knowledge of the religion, one can't really get the full benefits of the religion, which religion promises. Religion has big promise, here and hereafter. But we can only get that promise materialized when first we understand religion, then we practice this religion on regular basis and full practice on regular basis, then we eventually, inshallah, will get that what religion has promised. But we want instant, it's not instant coffee or instant other things. We want to get the religion and its promise and benefits also on instant basis. And that's why if you look at YouTube, all those diseases will be cured just with one dose. You eat this, you drink this, or these religious people are putting, you read this dua, you read this surah, you do this one thing, and black will turn white and white will turn black, and all the disease and all the problems will be solved just by eating this one dose of this medicine or reading this ayat or this hadith. Instant, they know what people are looking for. People are dying for getting the instant results. Big things don't happen instantly. Big things, meaningful changes take time. It takes time, and then steady practice, regular practice over the time eventually has impact. But people don't have that patience anymore. We are living in the time when things are instant and the fast food and everything fast. That's why even the other day we were talking, the Hauzas that who had 20 years curriculum has now become to 3, 4, 5 years of curriculum. So instead of Hujjatul Islam, so now we have Khulasatul Islam. So this Khulasatul Islam within 2 years, within 3 years, and time is gonna come that within 6 months, so it will be kind of drive-through Hauza. When we were studying, our teachers, for example, they studied up to between 15 to 20 years. And we went 5 years less than them, and I studied for 15 years. And then when we started running the Hauza, so we were forced by our board, by our donors, and the living realities in this country that we should make a curriculum for 5 years. That was also too much. Why do you want to keep them for 5 years? Why you should teach them for 5 years? 2 years is good enough. 3 years is good enough. And I told them that in those days I had a visit of Ottawa, and my host, he had a son who was 6th grader, I think, at that time. And I was new in America at that time. I'm talking about 1989. This 6th grader came to join us, I think, for brunch, and his father asked him that you always have questions and ask no, whatever you want to ask. Maulana is here. Maulana ko koi roti muft mein nahi deta. So when Maulana is somebody's control or haath mein hai, to ab sare roti to khilani hai. So now ask him whatever you want to ask. So this 6th grader asked me questions which really we discussed when we had already studied at Hauza for 10 years. those hard questions, difficult questions. And meaning I struggled even answering those questions to that child. After studying 15 years at Hosa, and you are asking me, teach them for 2 years and 3 years, and then send them in community to preach and to lead. So the point is, we are living in a difficult time. We want to have everything, but we are not ready to pay the price. We are not ready to go through the process. We want to find the shortcuts. And through shortcuts, we want to get the results. It's impossible. Recite the salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So, my point is, my brothers and sisters, basic information and that superficial knowledge doesn't lead you to that satisfaction, that unshakable religious character, and you are always vulnerable. As I said, just one clip, one article, one book, one speech is good to shatter all what you believe in. So the solution is in-depth knowledge. In-depth knowledge, when it was now, in old times, when teachers were teaching their students, the students and teachers would spend most of their time together under one roof. Students had nothing else to do other than learning, and teachers had also nothing else to do other than teaching. Life was simple, and they had very limited needs, and they would spend bulk of their time together, only concentrating on learning and teaching without those distractions which now we have after every second. You cannot even read one article peacefully because tick, 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 tick is all coming. The new messages and distractions and calls and all that what is going on. And all of us, at least we have 20 machines which we need to go and repair them, renew them, service them, fix them, change them. Start from your phone till your laundry machine, your microwave, your TV, your computer, your car, and your garage, and your, just count how much we own, how much machinery. And all this machinery which is helping us to, meaning do our things fast, but all this machinery also requires so much time to keep it functioning, keep it working, serving, changing, what you call keep service. Ayatollah Mishkini, I remember he was used to quote a hadith that if a student has more than 2 shirts, he will never be a mujtahid. He will never be a mujtahid if he has more than 2 shirts. It was strange to see. Meaning, what does this shirt have to do with ijtihad? But when we asked him once, and this was asked when I was there and we were a few students, they said this is a lifestyle. It's not only that when he has more than 2 shirts, he will have more than 2 pants also. Then he will have more than 2 socks also. Then he will have more than 2 shoes. He will have more than 2 the other stuff. And in order to get all that, you need to give your time, you need to go and earn, to spend money and then buy them, and then you need place to keep them, and then you need time to wash them and clean them and use them, And then just wahalum majarra and keep thinking about. So this is a lifestyle. So if a student has more than 2 shirts, then this student, will be able to go to some point, but if he is thinking to become a mujtahid, forget about it. Those people became mujtahid that they were used to eat only bread without salan, without curry, sometime with onion, sometime with watermelon, and sometime only this bread without anything. Because they didn't want to waste the time to go in the market and buy the meat and then clean it and cook it and then do all that kind of stuff. They said, I have other things to do. So you read the lives of those, what we call them, genius and accomplished scholars, that how they had spent their days and nights and their life in learning. I'm going a little far from my topic, but meaning these are also important things. You know this cap which graduates, they wear on their head, this is a strange kind of cap which they only wear for a few minutes once in that graduation ceremony. I have read somewhere, they said that this was created by Abu Ali Sina. Abu Ali Sina was a great philosopher and a great scholar and a walking, talking encyclopedia. A genius man. And in order to remain up and not sleep, he made this kind of cap and tied it with something, with the roof, the long thing, that when he will take those, when he will sleep and when he will go down, so he will awake. Something is kind of what you will call the upar khechti usko. So he cannot go down and he cannot fall asleep. So this is how this thing became eventually, that this our Abba is now meaning later on became Abba for judges and for scholars and for all those people. So scholars would spend their days and nights, and there was another great scholar, Mullah Hadi Sabzwari, one of the great scholars. I read his biography written by himself. He left Sabzwar and went to Isfahan. Isfahan was the center of ma'kulat at one time, the philosophy and hikmat and all these different kind of sciences. So he says, I went there, and while I was studying, so there were letters would come from my home, from my family. He said, I would never open any letter, because I thought that if I will open the letter, it may have some sad news, it may have some request to come back and visit, or it would divert my attention from this work what I am doing. So I would never open my letters and I would put them under my mattress. Mattress, मैं कह रहा हूँ अंग्रेजी की ज़बान में, उस वक्त तो mattress नहीं होते थे, वो गद्दा, I don't know what do you will, futon, something like that. He said, I kept putting all my mail under that futon. After 5 or 6 years, when I graduated from there and I finished, and now I wanted to go back, so I opened all my mail. I read, Mr. So-and-so passed away, Mrs. So-and-so passed away, aunt passed away, uncle passed away, mother passed away. All those kind of things. Somebody got married, somebody got son, somebody got daughter. These are the normally news which come in the letters. He says, so I recited one Fatiha for all marhumin, together, collective, one Fatiha for all marhumin. I said, even if I would open the letter, I was not able to cause life into any of them, and I won't be able to really go and to go back. And for all those who got married and who got children, I made a dua for them. May Allah bless them and give them more children and give them more. And then he said, I went to visit my family. Now, none of you know who was Mullah Hadi Sabzwari. Sometime if you do research and you find what an accomplished scholar, philosopher, Hakim, and his book in philosophy was the book which was being taught at our hawzas at the master level. Manzuma and Sharh Manzuma. He compiled the whole philosophy in poetry. The entire course of philosophy is put in the poetry. That's why it is called Manzuma. Nazm se hai Manzuma. So the philosophy which is put in the poetry. And great scholar. Similarly, Sahib Jawahirul Kalam and so many these other people. A little thing happens in our life in this time, and we are also very weak people. I had read about Sahib Jawahirul Kalam. Jawahirul Kalam is our largest encyclopedia of fiqh. No faqih and mujtahid is free of need from consulting this Jawahirul Kalam. The author of Jawahirul Kalam was a man that his young son passed away. And his routine was that he was used to write a certain number of pages every day. They said even on that day, when his young son was passed away, he wrote the same number of the pages of that book even on that day. When mayyit of your young son is sitting in your home and you have nerve and you have commitment, that you sit down and you write the same numbers of pages even on that day. This is something what we had read, but I have seen something with my own eyes. We had a great teacher in Qom, and he was the best teacher of that subject or of that book. Ayatullah I'timadi, the teacher of Rasail in Usulul Fiqh. One day we attended his class, and his class was always so early in the morning that I developed a habit of this abandoning breakfast because of his class. It was so early in Masjid-e-Azam. So we would run early and go and attend in his class. One day, he came just as usual, and he taught us for 1 hour, and we never realized anything. And after teaching that class for 1 hour, when class finished, he made an announcement. He said, my humble request, my mother passed away last night, and her mayyit is now put there outside when you exit from classroom. So can you join us for her salatul mayyit, for her salatul janaza? A little thing happens to us and class is cancelled. I cannot come, I cannot do that because my mother passed away, because my son passed away, because there is something going on in my family, in my home. Meaning, I don't exclude myself. We are so weak. That's why we have not produced anything. But the people who have produced the knowledge, the research, the results, this was their level of commitment. So simple living, so content, so focused, and that's why they produced those results. So my topic, I will continue inshallah next Friday. It's a very important one, but today I just went into some of these points, which were again the commitment. We cannot get those results without, with basic information or with spending only a few minutes here or few hours here or few minutes there. Big goals and big results can be only achieved by big efforts, by investing lot of time and lot of effort, and by cutting ourselves from so many other things. When we want to be everywhere and we want to do everything under the sun, then in Farsi they have saying, hame kare, each kare. I think there is some saying in English also, Jack, wo kya kehte hain usko? Jack of all trades, master of none. That's what we are, most of us. And we are very much proud that, oh, I know everything. I know everything. I'm master of everything. So when you are master of everything, basically you are telling you are master of nothing. Either you know head, either you know tail. But you don't know the whole thing. That is, my brothers and sisters, a painful reality. But that's how, no, that kind of time, that kind of phase, that kind of is the time when we are living. So we need to take a good control of our time. We need to have a good clarity of mind, what we want to do in our life, what we want to do with our time, what we want to do with our money, what we want to do with our talent and with our abilities. We need to prioritize, and then we need to focus, and then we need to stick with our whatever we do, and don't look into instant results and superficial results. And then inshallah we will be able to achieve something for ourselves and for our families and for our community. Recite aloud salawat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحليم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. وعلى أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين علي بن أبي طالب. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. وعلى سيدة نساء العالمين فاطمة الزهراء. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. وعلى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. اللهم صل على محمد وآل وعلى علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي. اللهم صل على مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان وعلى آبائه الكرام متصل الليالي والأيام. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى: إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون.
اللهم صل على محمد